So students, maybe Katie can put up that sign again. Welcome to part 2 of Living Room Circus with Marcy and Marissa from Diamond Family Circus. Did I get that right? Yeah. And we brought them back because we loved what they did. We love everything that they do at Actors Company and Diamond Family Circus. They do a lot of programming for Connected North at home and also Connected North. But today we're going to learn how to use some simple materials around your house to do some circus tricks. So if you can all go and get a long pair of socks, either 3 balls or some socks that are balled up. Maybe you can show us. That's it. 3 balls, some bags, 3 bags, and a tube that is like a paper towel tube. That would be great, and we'll start in 1 minute. And the students right now are starting to balance doing Connected North at home as well as their schoolwork. So we're really glad they're here. Oh, Logan, what do you need? You need a long pair of socks. Yeah, Gabriella, wow, that's right. A long pair of socks, 3 balls or some pairs of socks that are balled up. 3 bags or something that can float like the bags, and a tube, like a paper towel tube. So we'll get started. Well, I'm just going to turn it over to Marcy and Marissa from Diamond Family Circus.
Hello, thank you Molly and Katie, and thank you everybody for joining us today. If this is your second day doing circus with us, let us know if you can do that in the chat. And you can also just shout, hop, hey, because you learned our circus bell last time that goes like this, hop, hey. And if this is your first time doing circus with us, just try that again with the people who did it last time, because we're a little backwards today, and we're going to start with our circus bell first.
But for those of you who were not here last time, you might be wondering, what are they saying before they do their big bow? We say the word hop, and some of you might remember that our word hop means go.
Go.
So anytime we say hop, it just means go. Sometimes we'll say a ready before we say the hop, but hop is a made-up circus word that people use all around the world who speak different languages. We all know the word hop.
Hop. Let's try it. Hop. Hey. Awesome. All right. While we're moving our bodies, the first piece of circus equipment is the most important one. It is your own body. And there's actually a really, really extra important part of that body, which is your brain, which tells all of the other parts what to do. So we're going to ask you to use your body and your brain together and make sure that if your brain is noticing something's not right for the rest of your body, you don't have to do it. So we started last time practicing saying the word no, and we're just going to say that one more time in any language that you want. So Marissa and I know some French and some Spanish and some English and some American Sign Language, but you might know another language. And if the word no is different, that's our English. In your language, try it in your favorite language. When I count to 3, I'm going to do French.
I'll do sign language.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, non. 1, No. Oh, that was awesome. All right, so remember, you get to say no inside your head or out to anything we're doing, and I'll try to give you some ideas for ways you might be able to change what we're doing to make it work better for your body, okay? Okay? All right, so here we go. We are gonna start out with a little bit of warming up our bodies. So if you can pretend that the floor beneath you is really cold and you don't have any shoes on at all, and your feet are really cold, so you don't want to touch the floor. That's awesome. And now we are going to do the same thing, but this time your knees might have been bending up in front of you. We're going to try to do the same thing with your heels pointing backwards. And quicker, because it's too cold to touch the floor. That was amazing. Nice job. All right, and now we're gonna stretch our arms way up to the ceiling. I don't know if you saw a full moon last night, but we did, and it was so bright. So we're gonna try to reach that moon as high as you can. It's still gonna be really big tonight. We're gonna try to reach it. And then we didn't quite get it. So let's bring our hands all the way down to the ground.
Trying to keep your knees as straight as you can, no bend.
And one more time. We're gonna reach up as high as you can. And now it's daytime, try to reach the sun. Nice and warm. Reach up, 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 and down. And then bend your knees and roll up. That was awesome. If you're breathing a little bit harder, that's good. Do we have any questions, Molly, before we move on? And while we're asking, we're gonna have a parade in place of marching. We can all do that together. If there are any questions or comments.
Not questions yet, but Sierra just joined and she was making her brother breakfast. So that's really being helpful. That's very kind. Thanks, Sierra.
Thank you, Sierra. Okay, so last time we did some animal acrobatics parade. And I'm wondering if anybody remembers one of the animals that we did. And if we don't see it on the chat, that's okay. We will jump right in and start with frog jumps. See what somebody said. Dog. Oh, we can definitely do a dog. All right, we're gonna start with frog jumps and then we'll do a dog. Okay. So hands down, legs wide, and we jump up high and back down. You can make whatever frog sounds you want. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. That was awesome. And now we're gonna, dog. Yeah, this, if you ever see a dog stretch, sometimes they stretch, they make their bodies into a triangle, kind of a triangle, so their feet go back, and they push away from their hands in a big stretch. And you can make your doggy sounds too. Our dog sounds like woof, woof. Bring your feet to your hands as close as you can and stand up. Woo. We have another one that I don't think we did last time. It's a new one. And we're gonna go back and forth between a cat and a cow. A scaredy cat and a cow that has not been milked, but should have been. Somebody forgot to do their chores. So this cat, we're gonna get on our hands and knees, nice and gently. And then when cats get scared, they round their back up like that, and they make a big hissing sound or a growl. So it goes, or maybe meow.
And then we're gonna drop our belly buttons towards the floor and get this nice arch in our back. And this is our cow. And you can say whatever cow noise you want. Moo. And back up to cat. And then we're gonna get a little tricky for a second, and we are gonna try to do a disco cat. And a disco cat just means that your core, so from between your shoulders and your hips, is gonna make a circle while you're still in this table position. Make a circle, and make a circle the other way. And this is your disco cat.
That was awesome. Let's see if we can go back up to our stretching dog, our down dog. Oh, yeah. And then bring your feet as close as you can to your hands and stand up and try to reach the moon one more time. Whew. That was fantastic. Hopefully your body feels a little bit better and ready to go. And if you have any questions on how to make it a little different to feel better for your body, you can put that in the chat and we can help you with that. Because you don't have to be able to do all of this to do circus. So I think now that our bodies are warmed up and we figured out how to do a cat-cow, we can show you something we didn't spend very much time on at the end last time, which is our pyramid with our bodies. Don't worry, we're gonna get to the props pretty soon, the things that you collected, but we feel like your body is the most precious and important part of anything that you do, including your brain. That's the most important part too. So we're gonna use our brains and be very careful and respectful and safe. If you have somebody to work with, great. If you don't, you can practice this position. So if you do have a friend to work with later, you can. So this is a table position. Maurice's going to show you.
So in my cat and my cow, I'm pushing my back up to the ceiling, or I'm dropping my belly button to the ground. For my table, I don't want to do either of those things. I want to have a really, really flat back. So if someone wanted to eat their dinner off of my back, they could. We're not going to actually eat anything off of anybody's back.
No, but we'll show you what we mean.
I have this nice lump.
So Maurice is going to go to her table position, and she's going to have her shoulders right above her hands. They're stacked right above her hands. These are her shoulders. Her hips are right above her knees. And there's actually, you can't see it, but a little bit of space in between her knees. She's gonna stay, yeah, okay, you can go back sideways, Marisa. Now, we wanna be as strong as possible. No cats, no cows. So if you had a feast, the biggest feast you could imagine, it would not collapse this table. This is the strong table. So I have some chicken, some bacon, I have a corn.
But that's not what we're actually
No, we're gonna actually stack a person, probably a smaller person. So if you don't have somebody smaller to do this with you, you can just watch us. So before you do it, make sure you know how to do it safely. And part of that is asking permission. So Marisa, may I put my hands on your shoulders and my knees on your hips?
Yep.
Oh, and I waited for her to tell me if it was okay or not. She just said yes. So the way I'm going to do that is very slowly and carefully place my hands on her shoulders. She's going to stay in that strong table, and I'm going to slowly and carefully move my shoulders over my hands, over Marisa's hands, put a knee on one side of her hips and a knee on the other, and I'm a strong table too. And then I very carefully step down. Now it's really important you have a spine, a backbone that carries messages from your brain to the rest of your body. You do not want to put your knees or your hands on anybody's backbone where their spinal cord is protected.
You see where that sun is on the back of Mercy's shirt? That's like, if that went all the way down, you don't want to put anything there.
So we protect our brains and our spines and the people we're working with.
So why don't you guys go ahead and try it if you have a sibling or a parent or a grandparent that wants to do it with you.
You gotta ask first. Always.
And we're gonna try it again. We're gonna reverse roles because we are similarly enough size that we can do both parts of the pyramid.
Ta-da! If you get really good at it, you might, after practicing a lot with the same person, you might be able to take one hand out if you're on the top. We call that person the flyer. Whoever's off the ground is the flyer. And the person that's on the ground or supporting the person in the air, we call the base or the porter. But that's enough words. Let's move on to some other fun stuff. That was our partner acrobatics, and we wanted to go over that because we knew some of you had fun with that last time. All right, so some of you brought some really cool stuff from around your house. Yep, we're gonna start with the poi,
which is your long pair of socks, wherever it went. And whatever kind of ball you had, if it's balled up socks, that's fine. If you have a tennis ball or a clementine or kind of anything in a ball shape that has a little bit of weight to it, that will work. So I have an actual juggling ball here, and I'm gonna place that inside my long sock and let it fall down to the toe. We did some of this last time. If you don't remember, this is called poi or spinning poi. This would be sock poi. But it comes from the Maori in New Zealand. So to start, you're gonna wrap your socks around your hands so you get a little bit better grip. And last time we started going backwards, so we're gonna just start swinging them backwards in circles. And then when that feels good, you're gonna try and swing it forwards. And we're gonna try a skill called a butterfly. So a butterfly is basically swinging your poi backwards and then having them cross in front of you. So this is the motion you're gonna be doing, but your hands are gonna be here. So I'm gonna start swinging backwards, but it will look more like sideways now because of the position of my hands. And I keep one hand on top of the other hand at all times. So this is what my hands look like if I'm not doing anything. Yeah, and then once I add in the spin, yeah. So that is a butterfly. If your poi are getting all tangled up like this, that is okay. Just keep trying. You can try it one at a time. So if I wanted to just do it slowly and start really basic, I would do one this way, and it's always spinning outwards away from me at the top. So it really is just that backward spin that we were doing at our side. And then I'm gonna try my other hand. And then once each hand feels really, really comfortable doing it in front of my face, then I can try again for the butterfly. Did anybody get it? You can write in the comments if you have questions, or in the chat.
I'm going to check the chat.
I'm going to.
Oh, here we go. So Marisa.
Yes, apples will work. Anything, as long as you have permission to use it. Anything that's roundish and in a circle-ish, roundish shape. Yeah, a sphere-ish
shape. So you can ball up socks and put those inside your long socks if you have an extra pair. But then because they're a little bit lighter, you would probably want to put a knot down at the bottom. If you're using a balled up pair of socks inside, put a knot down at the bottom, and that will help you spin better.
So we just did butterfly, which is a very basic pattern. Because all it is our spin backwards, right? But we do it sideways instead. I believe last time we started to learn a 2-beat weave. And for your 2-beat weave, you're gonna start just with one hand at a time. I'm gonna put my other one behind my back, so don't even have to worry about it. And I'm going to cross my body and make a circle on the cross side, so circle, and then circle on the same side. Circle, circle, making it X or half an X. No, it's a whole X. Circle, circle, crossing your body. And then I'm going to do it with my other hand.
So it looks like you're making an 8 on its side.
An infinity sign.
Or an infinity sign as you go across your body.
Yeah, you're making a nice infinity sign with the poi. And then if you feel super comfortable with both hands, one hand is going to start before the other side and it's going to make its cross. As that one crosses, the second one is going to start crossing as well, I believe. Yes? Yes.
Whoa.
So this is your 2-beat weave. What we were just doing with one hand at a time, I'm doing the exact same thing. Just be careful. Sometimes the poi will hit you in the shoulder or the leg. Check in with your body and make sure you're okay if that happens. It's totally normal if that happens. I've hit myself in the torso plenty of times while practicing poi. Cool. So now you have a butterfly and a 2-beat weave.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Marisa. And don't get rid of those poi because we're going to use those socks for something else in just a moment. We did want to make sure everyone got the juggling as well. So the juggling, if you have bags or scarves, just to review that for scarf juggling, we're going to start with 1. Your duck beaks, if you remember your duck beaks, they're facing down, and you're going to throw up and catch down like you have 2 hungry ducks. And let that bag or scarf float and float. You'll be patient. And when you're ready to add a second one, you want to make sure, because we're always respectful in the circus, that your hands take turns. They each get a turn. So we're going to throw up, up, and maybe catch them down, down. If you're not having trouble catching them, just work on the throws. And the scarves and the bags should cross in the air, but your hands don't cross. Your hands like to stay on their own side of your body and take turns. So it goes up, up, down, down. Crisscross applesauce. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever works for you in your mind to think about having your hands throw and take turns. It's helpful if you start with the hand you don't usually write with. If you write more with one side or draw more with one side, start with the other side first. Up, up, down, down.
Marcy likes to call that side your puppy side. I call it your silly side because sometimes it feels like really weird. If you ever try to write with the hand that you don't usually write with, it feels really silly. And Marcy calls it the puppy side because it needs more training. It needs more love. If you don't have any scarves or shopping bags, but you do have the 2 items you use at the bottom of your poi, if those were apples or socks or balls, whatever you use at the bottom of your poi, you can also go straight to juggling balls if you don't have bags.
So I'm just going to show the 3 with the bags, or I'm going to use scarves for that. It's the same thing, but you might be able to see these a little better. You're always going to put 2 in one hand and make sure that you're holding the 2 separately. So you basically need 2 separate duck beaks separately holding the 2 objects in one hand, and then you have one hand for one scarf over here. We always start with getting rid of one of the scarves or objects in the hand that has 2 first. You only want to get rid of one, and we always want to throw up, okay? And then our hands take turns. So I'm going to start orange, then this yellow, and it looks like this. And if I can catch, great, and if not, that's okay. Just try again. So it's the same pattern Marisa will show you with the balls, except that your hands are going to be facing up instead of down for the balls. Go ahead, Marisa.
So just to rewind real quick, Marcy started with 2 scarves or 2 shopping bags, and we're with juggling those, and we're going to do the same thing with juggling are balls or clementines or balled up socks, whatever you have. Ooh, it's totally fine. I just dropped, which is normal and great.
And you picked it up.
And I picked it up and I'm going to keep going. That's the most important part. So for 2 balls, instead of having your duck beaks upside down, you're going to have nice platters. And they can grip the balls. They don't have to stay nice and tight plattered. And you are going to make a rainbow with the items that you are juggling. And just like she said, same pattern, crisscross applesauce. Each hand takes its turn and they both go up. Nothing ever goes across. So up, up, down, down.
It is hard. Juggling
down,
is
down.
hard. And what happens is the more you practice, the easier the thing gets. But then when it finally isn't hard anymore, you might want to try something new, and that's going to be hard for a while until you practice and practice and get better at it. So yes, it's very hard when you start out.
It is very hard. It took me a very long time to be able to juggle just 3 balls, but now I can juggle all sorts of props.
Can you show, Marisa? So
Yeah.
you can keep practice juggling your bags or scarves or balls or socks. You can continue practicing that. If you would, if you don't have those, you can just watch Marisa juggle.
So the most common juggling props other than juggling balls are rings and clubs. Sometimes people call these pins, but in the circus world, we try to call them clubs. But if you call them something silly, that's okay. So I'm gonna, for a moment, I will juggle my rings and then I will juggle my clubs for you guys while you keep practicing juggling balls.
Or scarves.
Or
Or
scarves.
bags.
So that's rings. And
Wow,
that's
so-
clubs.
And somebody says, wow, I can actually juggle.
Wow.
Somebody else says, I've tried to juggle and it takes practice for sure. I got it and I don't want to stop. I think Marisa practices a lot. That is
do.
true.
I've told, so we teach at a circus school when things are not so wild and crazy and different. We teach at an actual circus school, which is a place where people can come and learn. And I tell my students that are not jugglers, lots of them don't actually like juggling, but they want to be able to juggle. And I tell them that if they practice their juggling for 5 to 10 minutes a day, that they will be better than they were yesterday or at the beginning of the week. And that should be super encouraging because you can always get better. And that is exactly how I learned to juggle. Was I just had to decide that it was something I wanted enough to practice. If you don't want it enough to practice, it's just like a musical instrument. If you don't actually practice, you're not going to probably be very good at it.
Yeah, but practicing. So somebody said they dented their good apples, and I guess one of the things you can do with dented apples is make baked apples if you have a way to bake them with a grown-up. So that sounds delicious. All right, so that also reminds me, I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to try one of our clowning exercises using some of the things that you may have gathered. And that is, we find different uses for everyday objects. So for example, with our paper towel tube, if you have that, or let's just start with that if you have that. I might go around in a circle if you were in this room with me, but you're in this virtual room, and so we can still play. And say, this is not a paper towel tube.
You can make it be anything except a paper towel tube.
So,
And then you're going to show what it is.
so for me, I might do this.
This is a looking glass. And you're going to say what it is.
This is a looking glass. And then I would pass it to the next person. So I'm passing it to all of you right now to take your paper towel tube and make it into something else completely.
And don't be afraid to look silly or ridiculous, especially because we can't even see you. So there's no pressure. So I've been talking to you guys, and I had no time to think about what this
Go,
is.
Marisa.
I think it's a toothbrush. What do you guys think?
It's a microphone.
It's a witch's broom.
It's Harry Potter's broom. Just kidding. So you get the idea. You can take anything and make it into anything your imagination will let it be. And it's a really fun game to play if you have siblings, if you have other people in your home that might want to play. It doesn't take anything. It can be anything around the house that you're allowed to use.
Yeah, here, just as an example, we didn't tell you guys to bring this, but it's a can of this is a can actually in real life, a can of black beans. But it's a chair. I'm sitting on it.
Hello? Hello? I can't hear you.
So really,
It's a cell phone.
anything that is next to you, you can play this game with, and it is a great game to play anytime. It's super quick and it's silly. It should make you laugh eventually if you keep going long enough.
And you really don't want to think about it. Just quick, whatever comes to mind. You can play this by
It's
yourself.
my belly button.
You can play this by yourself and go as fast as you can from using it as one thing
To the next.
to the next, to the next, to the next. Try to get to maybe 10 things per object if you're playing by yourself, or as many as you possibly can until you can't think of anything else.
Exactly.
And that helps get your creative mind going, so that helps a lot with things like clowning. So the other clowning thing that we did last time, and we didn't have time to do it very much, we wanted to go over that again, which was 1, 2, 3.
We're gonna call JT in for this one.
JT, will you join us for this, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you were
JT, our ringmaster.
Hi, everybody. Great to be with you all today. These two are amazing teachers. You're so lucky. I hope you're at home having a lot of fun.
If you
JT.
were not here or you didn't remember what 1, 2, 3 is, it's a very basic clown game, and there is a 1, a 2, and a 3. And that is the very basic idea of status, which is a big thing we talk about in the world, but also specifically in clowning and acting. So the higher your number, the higher status you are. So if you're watching a silly high school movie, it's kind of like the 1 is the most popular queen bee, and the lowest number, which right now is the 3, would be, I don't know, the nerd. Stereotypically, we like smarts though. So the higher your number, the higher your status. And for this game, the 1 makes up whatever motion and or sound that they want. The 2 repeats it perfectly because the 2 is still pretty smart. And then the 3 is going to change it a little bit, but you should still be able to tell what the 1 did.
Let's try it.
So 1, 2, 3. Marcy's 1. Great. So now Marcy and JT are going to be your 1 and your 2, and you get to be the 3. So you are going to change what they do a little bit. I'm going to go check on Ghost, our dog. He seems a little sad.
He's a little barky today. Let's go.
Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Are you ready? Okay. How you doing?
He's coming.
How do you do it? And you? Did you change it? I hope you changed it. I bet it was great.
Ghost wanted to be a number 3 too.
Oh, yeah. Ghost
That's
likes to drop in
awesome.
on all
We
of us.
wish we could make you the number 1 right now, but we can't see you. So what we're gonna do instead, what we're gonna do instead is maybe try 1 more. And let's just, maybe I'll get inspired by Ghost. I am. He's wagging his tail, so I'm gonna wag my tail.
And I'm going to wag my tail.
And
And
Ghost is
you.
jumping.
What are you doing?
Give your microphone, Ghost.
I don't
Come on,
know.
buddy.
All
Let's
right,
go.
I think JT, thank you for your help, JT.
You're welcome.
All right, we have 1 more clown. This one is less of a game and more of a classic clown gag. And gag is kind kind of the word we use for a very small scene or skit. But in the clown world, we use the word gag, clown gag. So this one is called Dead or Alive. It will work really well if you have another person that you can do this with, but if you don't, you can just learn each part of it. So when you are able to see your friends again, you can maybe teach them how to do this. So I'm going to be the dead person, and Marcy is going to be the alive person. So in some situation that we have not yet made up, I ended up dead. So I'm gonna go on the floor, and I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna be a talking head, so I can talk us through this skit.
It's just imaginary.
Yes. So Marcy is gonna notice that I am quote unquote dead, and she is gonna react, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe she's dead. Let me check her pulse to see if it's real." And she's gonna pull my arm up to check my pulse. And then she's gonna be like, "Oh, wow, she's dead." And she can walk away because she doesn't care. She can walk away because she wants to find help. That's up to you. And then she's gonna notice that my arm is still up. And that's weird. So she's gonna try to put my arm back down by my side. And when that happens, I raise up my other arm. That's really weird again. So she's gonna put that arm down. And this time my leg is gonna rise up. Now she's gonna go around to the other side of me, and she's gonna put my leg down. And my other leg goes up. And now she kind of understands what's happening. So she's gonna hold my leg that's on the ground down.
Gently.
Yep, and push the other one down. And both of my arms are gonna come up. Now, here's the fun part. Marcy's gonna stand over my hips. She's gonna push my arms down back by my side, and my feet are gonna come up as she does it and kick her in the butt very lightly. I just tapped her legs just a little bit, and she's gonna fall over. At which point I wake up. Go back. I wake up. You fall down. I reveal that I played a trick on her. I laugh at her, ha ha ha, and she gets mad and would chase me out of here. Oh no! So a little bit faster without me talking, and you guys can totally try it while we're doing it, if you have someone to try it with. A little bit faster would look like, start off. So whatever happened, I'm dead. No. Oh my God.
Oh! Hey!
All right. Did that work? Did anybody try it?
So I do want to say one thing. I hope we made you laugh a little bit, but the falling part is one of the most important things you can learn in life or circus, how to fall safely and get back up again. And I don't know if you saw it because it was a little bit fast. We practiced that slowly. And some of the things that you need to know about falling safely are you want to lower your body close to the ground before you actually fall. You want to protect your bones and your brain. So we want to make sure your chin is kind of in towards your chest. You don't hit your head. You don't
hit your heels.
So
Heels are really sensitive.
Bones don't like when you fall with flexed wrists. It's better if you're kind of spread out so you get down low. And then spread out and roll onto less bony parts of your body, protecting your head and your bones. So there's a lot more. We could do a whole class just on falling. but make sure that you start practicing your false slope. Get low to the ground, protect everything that's bony or your brain, and roll. So you can practice your roly-poly on the ground before you even do that. Just getting like a grub or, an armadillo that got scared and rolling around. It seems really silly.
Marcy's favorite thing to do is rolling around on the ground.
But it's actually really helpful. So if you fall because you slip on the ice, you might be able to remember in that split second, if you've practiced a lot, just like juggling, that you can kind of roll from it instead of reaching your hands out like that, which can hurt your arms. So let's see, did we have any other comments or questions?
I don't know, students, do you have any questions? I think they had fun with the juggling and the, and now they're chatting about where they are, but where.
Awesome.
And that's so
great.
We love seeing where you guys are all from. That's so interesting to us.
People
We're from all over the world, from Alaska to New Zealand and everywhere in between to do circus, to perform circus. We were in Puerto Rico.
We're in Vermont today.
We're in Vermont in the United States right now. It's beautiful and warm today, but it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So we're curious where you are. That's something we love to hear about.
But yeah, any other questions?
Sierra and her brother want to know, how did you get into the circus and how young did you start?
I found it through the gymnastics school that I went to. There were girls at my gymnastics school who were already doing circus, and so I kind of found it through them. And I started gymnastics when I was 3, and I started circus around 8 years old. But Marcy's story is more interesting.
We're a little bit of an unusual circus family. Oops, that's my rubber chicken. We're an unusual circus family because many circus families are many generations, and they learn circus, the kids learn from their parents or their aunts and uncles, and it's a family tradition that gets passed down. In our family, I was a gymnast when I was a child, and I did a lot of theater, plays, things like that. So I was already loving the creative and the physical together. But when Marisa started circus, she was the one that brought me back into circus and circus training and circus teacher training. And so I didn't actually start performing circus until I was in my 30s. And that was something I thought, I'm all done with that kind of performance. But the wisdom of children, Marisa, when she was young, about 8 years old, encouraged me to join her in the circus world. And then in a few years, once we really practiced a lot, we were able to start performing. And then we also took some teacher training so we could teach as well. Mm-hmm. So that's a great question, Sierra. I started circus a lot later than many people, but it's never too late. I've had students in their 70s, actually. As well as toddlers, and everything in between.
That is so cool. So before we go, I do want to share something for Sierra. Said thanks for answering, and Logan's from Thunder Bay, and Rael. And Rael is from Iqaluit, so that's really cool. But we're really excited to be able to show you what we've been working on for the past couple of days. Well, more than a couple of days. So last week when we met with Marcy and Marisa, they gave us a whole list of all of the websites that you could learn to see something about circus. So I am going to share with you my screen, and on the website connectednorth.org at home, we've got a brand new button here. It's called Additional Resources. So if you go there and click on that, we made a website, and you scroll down and see Diamond Family Circus and click on that, and there's all the things that Marcy and Marisa told us about. So there's a page and some tricks and some YouTube videos and Cirque du Soleil, which is Canadian, which is amazing. So you can go to our website to see any of those any of the providers. So the Marcy and Marissa, you are the first ones that we've been showing that to. So you can go and learn more about circus.
Thank you for
That's-
doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so
Well,
much.
Students want to continue learning when they're at home, so we just want to make sure. So I guess we'll see. Thanks, Marcy and Marissa. We're going to see you guys in a couple of weeks after
Yeah.
Easter weekend. So you guys have a great, it's like you're fortunate that your family's all together. You have Ghost. The polar bears are next at 1:30 Eastern. Let me get this right. 1:30
Polar
Eastern.
bears.
Polar bears. Smart. Marissa, you can join. Just go to our website and join. You can come and see. It'll be really cool. They're great. That's all the experts. So 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central, 11:30 Mountain, and 10:30 Pacific. Polar Bears International. And then we have a squid dissection this afternoon, and then Star Wars Trivia Night. So I'm going to be counting on JT, and I will send you that link. Star Wars Trivia Night tonight. So we'll see you guys soon. This was so great. I loved how you talked about safety and your story about the circus. That's great. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good
See you down the road.
See you down the road.
See you on the road. Bye.